From being involved in multiple hit and runs to being accused of domestic abuse by his exes, let's check out some of the major reasons why fighters hate Gervonta Davis. First off, he's been arrested for hitting a woman. No matter how bad the fights are in the ring, the fighters still respect each other. But that becomes difficult when a colleague is an alleged criminal like Davis. If you didn't know, he was arrested in Florida after slapping a woman on the right side of her head with his fist. From what I know, he ended up giving her a small cut on the inside of her right upper lip. The boxer was arrested on a misdemeanor charge of battery that caused physical harm, according to documents from the sheriff's office. As usual, he went on Twitter to say that the claims were false, but people didn't believe him because this wasn't his first time breaking the law. In November 2020, he was charged with leaving the scene of an accident. So, the famous fighter has been in trouble with the law for quite a while now. I can track his offenses back to the beginning of 2019, and it doesn't look like he's learning anything. On February 27th, he was wanted for a fight that had happened a few days earlier at a Virginia shopping center. This was his first case of hitting someone. He was said to have gotten violent with the cops during a fight with a man at an ATM in the Tyson's Galleria Mall in the Washington suburbs. He pushed a police officer. For this attack, he was charged with 1 count of minor assault, but the case was dropped later that same year, which was a shame. Aside from assaulting everyday citizens, he also seems to be aggressive toward his partners, or at least that's what the victim says in this case. Some of this news is a little bit upsetting, so viewer discretion is surely advised. Let's start by talking about the friendship between the lightweight professional boxer and his lady love. Vanessa Poso is a model and celebrity on Instagram, and she is also the mother of Gervonta's son, Gervonta Davis. Yes, the Tank has a child with a woman he's said to have abused.
Definitely move smart. That's why you notice, like, I don't really try to post a lot on my Instagrams and things like that because of what we live in today.
But the problem is that the whole thing's timeline and both sides' comments are so confusing and often contradictory. That makes it obvious why it'd be hard for someone from the outside to tell the truth about what happened. But when the police get involved, we know something is wrong, and that's what happened here. Tank was charged in Florida with simple abuse, which is a form of domestic violence. This happened in Coral Gables, Florida in the year 2020. They went to a charity basketball game in Miami, but things didn't seem to go as planned. Witnesses said that the couple got into a verbal fight and that there was a lot of fighting between them. He reportedly pulled his ex-girlfriend out of her seat by grabbing her by the neck. Yikes! There's even a 14-second video where we can see the whole thing. And that's not all, folks. From what I've heard so far, he kept on dragging her along by the front of her shirt, even though she tried to fight him off. Though he turned himself into the police, he still denied that he had abused his partner. Davis said he was aggressive but never violent, and his aggression also seems to be directed toward the boxing fraternity. Davis is always involved with beef in the industry. Floyd Mayweather can't say that he doesn't have a problem with Gervonta Davis, who used to be the best fighter in the world. Recently, their fight got a lot of attention. Davis will go against Ryan Garcia on April 22nd before going to jail in May, but he broke up with Mayweather Promotions before the fight was set up. In a shocking new development, he says that Mayweather went too low when he talked to Garcia online. Garcia started the fight on social media by saying, "You always act like you know something. Stop talking already. You're not much more than a shade room page. Relax." The Tank replied with how bad things have gotten between him and Floyd Mayweather. He called Garcia Little Floyd and said he couldn't care less if Floyd denied Davis access to his gym. Tank's confession rubbishes the idea that him and Mayweather could have broken up in a friendly way, which El Herb, the CEO of Mayweather's company, has consistently rejected. When the first cracks started to show, El Herb told the press that Mayweather and Davis were still getting along fine. Also, he and Mayweather would still ride with Davis until the very end. I still don't know if the Tank only has a problem with Mayweather or not. El Herb has been to all of the Davis versus Garcia events so far without any problems, but you can't say the same about Mayweather. Maybe the problem does lie with the Tank being who he is. Another reason fighters hate him is that he sure talks a lot. Yes, Davis doesn't hold back when trash talking. I do get that trash talking is an integral part of the sport, but he does seem to cross the lines at times. It's unnecessary to always spew harsh words out of your mouth, but the American boxer leaves no stone unturned. At times, I don't blame him. It all oozes out of the confidence he has in himself. Before their fight in January 2017, Davis talked badly about Pedraza and was sure that he would win by a knockout. He won the fight by TKO in the end, which gave him the IBF super featherweight title. The 28-year-old and Tevin Farmer had a long-running verbal fight that included fights on social media, in interviews, and in person. Even though they never fought each other, their bad talk kept fans interested in a possible fight. As entertaining as it might be for the fans, fighters, on the other hand, don't really enjoy the back-and-forth verbal attacks. And what you guys remember the most, Davis and Ryan Garcia have been arguing with each other for years, on social media and in interviews. As time passes, their rivalry keeps getting more and more intense, thanks to his ability to aggravate his opponents through words. The 28-year-old also leaves no opportunity to troll his opponents. After their fight last year, Gervonta Davis made fun of Rolly Romero. When he fought Romero, Tank kept his perfect record and his WBA lightweight title. He shared a picture of Romero leaning on the rope during their fight on his Instagram story and implied that it was like a scene from Guard Your Grill, a TV show with Martin Lawrence. Rolly's fans didn't like that gesture from the Tank at all. All in all, such instances can sometimes go too far and turn opponents against each other, making them dislike or even hate each other. And he also had the audacity to come out and apologize, as if nothing had happened. Gervonta said he was sorry for putting his arm around his ex-girlfriend's neck in February at a Star basketball game. "I was just mad," Davis said on the Last Stand podcast with Brian Custer, according to TMZ Sports. Tank said that he didn't grab her by the neck, but instead grabbed her shirt and told her to get out. He admitted that it was a mistake on his part when he committed the act.
I've been talking to Al a lot lately, just not even in of course boxing, but just trying to.
But at the same time, he said he didn't want to hit her and that it was just his anger issues acting up. A video of the event was shared by TMZ Sports. Davis walks along the sideline toward the front row, grabs the woman out of her seat, and shoves her toward a backstage area. But at the same time, he said he didn't want to hit her and that it was just his anger issues acting up. A video of the event was shared by TMZ Sports. Davis walks along the sideline toward the front row, grabs the woman out of her seat, and shoves her toward a backstage area. From footage from another camera, it looks like the fighter threw a punch at a person who wasn't on screen. In the interview, he said that he had never hit the woman. When a video of the fight showed up on social media, police in Coral Gables, Florida, said they looked into it. The Tank was charged with simple battery and domestic violence. He said he wasn't guilty of both charges. The woman was hurt in her hip and left jaw, according to the police. Tank needs to know he can't just keep doing such acts again and again and act as if he's made a mistake every time.
He lacks self-awareness or awareness in general.
Is there a
question for you too? You had mentioned to Gervonta that God keeps me calm. You guys kind of laughed about it.
That's all from me on Why Fighters Hate Gervonta Davis.